Buchanan and Pete.
Run by Rob Lytle. It's 14-7 Bengals, but Cincinnati's inside the 5 and threatening to score again. Let's go back to Don Crick.
Thank you, Brian. Here in Cleveland, snow falling lightly, but it is falling. The wind's blowing in off nearby Lake Erie as winter comes a little early to Cleveland most every year. Just like they like it when the Browns and the Steelers lock up. Cold weather and hard football, and right now the Cleveland Browns trailing 12-3 have the ball, 2nd and 10, 40-yard line of the Steelers. Sipe to Charles White. He's drilled, missing the ball, and there's a marker down the line of scrimmage. There's some hitting going on out there.
Also some holding.
That's right. Detroit. Another field goal by Eddie Murray. Detroit, if you will. 9-0. Tampa Bay putting away the Green Bay Packers. Doug Williams just passed to an ex-Steeler, T. Bell, for 7 yards out for a touchdown.
Holding 63 offense. Still 2nd down.
On Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, it all starts at 12 noon here on NBC. An excellent matchup. Kansas City plays the Detroit Lions at Pontiac, Michigan. It's Thanksgiving Day here on NBC. The Lions making a run at the NFC Central title. Greg Pruitt now comes in the backfield. Brian Sipe has thrown the ball 16 times. He's completed 7 for 106 yards, but of course he's had the 2 interceptions. 2nd down and 20. Sipe had all day. You're certainly right, John Brody, about the offensive blocking of the Cleveland front line. They've really taken care of it.
We can do it all.
Are billions being spent on dams when no one seems to want them? Are we over-tapping our water? Could our supply of usable water eventually dry up? A search for the answers in a special series of reports beginning tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. Now stay tuned for Mary Poppins coming up next.
Write to LD Box 1000, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Foundation for Children with Learning Disabilities wants you to be informed.
Monday on MASH, BJ's wife has money problems.
So what do you want her to do? Sell the house and move in with us?
And on House Calls, a controversial law turns the doctors into cops.
We're the sex police.
Then on Lou Grant, a hometown story rekindles an old romance.
Hi, how are you?
You look terrific.
It all happens Monday.
Tomorrow on CBS.
I'm gonna knock out the knocks.
What knocks, champ?
The knock that's knocking around in my engine.
How are you gonna do that?
With Texaco's Super Lead-Free Sky Chief. It's Texaco's highest octane unleaded gasoline. It's got the octane to help me knock out the knocks.
Hey, champ, how's your engine sound now?
Texaco's Super Lead-Free Sky Chief. Its higher octane helps knock out the knocks. It's a winner by a knockout.
When you're planning your Thanksgiving dinner, don't forget to come to Foodland first for that special turkey that makes a special meal. USDA Grade A turkeys, self-basting for extra flavor, and holiday priced right now at just 46 cents a pound, 10 pounds and over. Delicious and flavorful, tender and juicy for a perfect holiday meal. And for each Foodland product you buy, we'll donate 1 cent to Children's Hospital.
Come on over to Foodland first, 'cause the specials are close to home. We're Eyewitness News.
Because of the following special program, Archie Bunker's Place and One Day at a Time will not be presented this evening.
Tonight, a very special 3-hour CBS movie presentation. Walt Disney's Mary Poppins.
For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine.
Calisthenics and throwing footballs around. Franco Harris was running out every area of this field. He checked every inch of this field. He wants to know where it's loose, where it's tight, where it's muddy, and where it's grassy, and where the big guy can go when he gets the ball.
And you know, it's something you don't learn coming right out of the box. There are a lot of things you don't learn right away, but all the great ones, they find out what they have to do and where they're going to have to do it. Maybe that's what makes them great.
Certainly one of the ingredients. Now it's 2nd down and 5. Bradshaw throws. Swan comes back at the ball. Incomplete at the 39-yard line. Not too much conversation today between Swan and Ron Bolton. There's a whole lot of chatter between those two the last time they played. I was amazed what a great singer Lynn Swan's father is. We heard him sing the national anthem at the 49er game last week.
You bet he is. His whole family is quite talented out there, but this man must have the most of all, because even to get his hands on that ball with this kind of footing, it looks to me like if Bolton had really had good footing, he might have picked it off. But no, Swan almost comes down with a reception.
He's got the great flexibility and suppleness and jumping ability, and above all, Swan has heart. He goes into a crowd and comes down with it. Bradshaw, 3rd and 5. Here's a throw to Swan. He's bumped. That should be a penalty, and there it is. No question about that. Bolton bumped him as the ball came in.
There's a question in Bolton's mind.
Not really. Interesting story here locally about Ron Bolton this week. Everybody talked about him as being the bad guy, and he allegedly spit in Swan's face, and somebody listed all the things he does between games. Visits veterans hospitals with films, children's hospitals.
Oh, people do a lot of things on the football field that's out of character. We're taking a look at whether or not this was an interference, and it definitely was, because he got to Swan before the ball did.
So the penalty sets the ball inside the Browns' 35-yard line. Sidney Thornton, he doesn't catch many, but he gets this one, puts his head down, and Sidney Thornton takes it ahead to the 27-yard line. It is a big doubleheader day on NBC in the cold of Shea Stadium on Flushing Bay in New York. The Dolphins holding to a 1-game lead, and you'll remember the game they had with the Jets the first time around, an overtime tie, getting set to go against the New York Jets on the Jets' home field. The question of whether Richard Todd can play today. Fractured rib. He says he'll go.
Saying it and doing it are two different things.
That fractured rib's got to be as tough a one for a quarterback as there is, unless you have a broken leg.
Reverse.
This is Hawthorne. You'll remember he was in the zone earlier. Penalty markers are down. So is the football. It's picked up by the Cleveland Browns.
And they'll get to keep it because the penalty was for a crackback block, and it was on Ron Bolton, and they almost de-limbed him.
See what's going to happen here.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt what's going to happen.
Neither do the Steelers. They're sending their defense out.
Personal foul, illegal touchback offense.
Yep.
First down, Cleveland.
Pittsburgh, in addition to being one of the top scoring teams, is also a leading fumbler. 28 team fumbles this year. Only San Diego has more. They have 30. Kansas City came into today's play with 29. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cleveland Browns and the National Football League is prohibited. Turnovers have stopped drives both ways. You'll remember that Brian Sipe was intercepted twice earlier in this game. And now the Browns, with a fumble recovery, start back the other way, trailing 12-3. 2:04 to play in the first half. Sipe's looking long at Logan. Now he's going to run. Banaszak's after him. Sipe has a first down. Steps out of bounds at the 50. Nicely done by Brian Sipe. 15-yard gain and a first down.
You may see that often today. He's had 4 or 5 times already where he's been able to get out of the pocket. That's the first time that he's had any running room. He picked it up.
So it's first down Cleveland when we come back to Cleveland Stadium. Football League on this 12th week of play. 1:54 left to go here at Cleveland Stadium. Don Criqui with John Brody. Brian Kemble standing by at NFL 81 in New York to update the scores and the highlights, and there are many. The Cincinnati Bengals rolling again with a 21-7 lead right now over the Denver Broncos. Second quarter score. First and 10 Cleveland. Browns trail 12-3. They power the ball at the Steelers. Greg Pruitt runs with the ball. On the stop for the for the Pittsburgh Steelers was Donnie Shell. There's the Cincinnati score, 21-7 over Denver. 13-7 Buffalo over New England. Browns in their hurry-up offense. Time a factor now. Here's a pitch back. Oh, man. That was almost taken by John Banaszak the other way. Defensive end was very close to getting the pitch out. Here's a penalty marker from way after the play, and the Browns are clapping.
Well, looks like Dunn, it's always the guy who hits last, and he's an extremely unhappy gentleman.
It's about as unhappy as you can get.
Well, it appears he got stepped on.
Personal foul.
Okay, number 67, there's Dunn. What actually happened is Doug Deacon chopped him low, maybe turned his knee a little bit, and it really can get a guy hot.
Boy, that's a big mark off, and so the Browns are in good field position with 1:27 left.
67 defense, unnecessary roughness, first down.
And we see Dunn coming off the field, Don, so you know when he did get cut, he hurt himself.
They're not taking him out because of the penalty.
I don't think so.
They kind of like him riled up in that Pittsburgh defense. So across the Steeler defensive front, we have Banaszak at the right end, Beasley the right tackle, Joe Green the left tackle, and a man who came with Green 13 years ago to the Steelers, L.C. Greenwood, is the left end. First down and 10, Cleveland inside the 25. Pruitt is stuck. What a hit, what a play by Lambert, who again leads the Steelers in tackles, in interceptions, and fumble recoveries, and in just overall great football. A guy grew up loving the Browns nearby in Mantua, Ohio.
You know what goes the most unnoticed about Jack Lambert is his intelligence. The man never misses a situation. They talk about all these quarterbacks that study defenses. He's one of the brightest middle linebackers that's ever played this game, and he doesn't make many mistakes.
And Lambert has led the Steelers in tackles for the last 7 years. He's only great.
For his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Lilly.
It was the greatest day of my life, the ultimate honor. Today I'm a businessman, but I learned a lot about business while I was a defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. During my career, I made a lot of business contacts. In 292 pro games and 5 championships, I took care of business. I knew my prospects personally, and I protected my assets. Playing in 10 Pro Bowls and 2 Super Bowls, I saw my investments pay off. I enjoyed my business as number 74. They call me Mr. Cowboy. And you'll enjoy meeting some of my business associates here in Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where we'll always be open for business.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Don't miss it.
The preceding announcement was from
defensive coordinator and the line coach for the Steelers. He's been a great coach for a long time. Tell you how involved he was. A couple of weeks ago, he went to a house, went home a little late, drew some plays on the kitchen table. 4 people looked at him. He finally realized he was in the wrong house.
As you can tell me, the dog bit him. Second down and 12 now for the Cleveland Browns. They're threatening late in the first half. Here's a throw. Ozzie Newsome comes back at the ball. Looks like he got it inside the 15-yard line. They say that Ozzie Newsome did indeed catch the ball, and now the Browns line up without a huddle.
They got plenty of time.
Sipe, despite 3 first-half interceptions, still has a chance to get the Cleveland Browns right back in this game at halftime as they trail at the moment 12-3. Now they signal a timeout with 55 seconds to play.
Okay, Sipe has had excellent protection, as we mentioned. Sullivan doing a fine job in the middle. He's getting the vision, the chance to step up a yard, step up when he throws the ball. When he can see, he can hit him.
Sipe has gone over 3,000 yards passing this season. Came into the game with 54% completion, 14 touchdown throws and 15 interceptions. He's not gotten him in the end zone yet. Now back to New York and Bryant Gumbel.
Okay, Don, in Cincinnati, Kenny Anderson continues to have a great day. Here's a 7-yard touchdown pass to Chris Collinsworth, makes it 28-7 Cincy. Anderson against the top defense, 16 of 22, 245 yards. Don?
Thank you, Brian. That is the amazing thing about that, John Brody. He's doing it against the best defense in the league. I don't think anybody could rip up the Bronco pass defense.
Well, in order to do so, you don't have to be so cute, because they're a very basic, simple defense, just like Green Bay used to be when they were better than everyone, and the New York Giants used to be. And what you have to be able to do in order to beat the Denver Broncos is throw the ball extremely accurately and throw the right patterns and be patient and at the same time not be conservative. He's been doing it as well as anybody all year long.
Anderson, reborn this year at Cincinnati after all those injuries. Wasn't a better quarterback in the league in the mid-70s, then some lean years, and now maybe his best year of all. 1st and 10 Cleveland. Timing pattern. Logan looking for a flag. None came in. Oh, that's a player, Dave Logan.
Well, there shouldn't be any flag down. I'll tell you what Sipe's hot about. He missed him. When you get your wide receiver inside shoulder on a cornerback, as he did Dwayne Woodruff on this occasion, look here. When he comes underneath, he's got to put the ball down low enough for Logan to take the ball like a rebound. That ball shot out of his hand, and that was a bad throw. He thought he might get a call because he thought Woodruff had a hold of Logan, but I don't agree with that.
2nd down and 10 now for Cleveland. 14-yard line of Pittsburgh. Sipe looks into the end zone, guns it hard, and Logan's in for a touchdown.
If it doesn't work on one side, try it on the other.
Great throw. Great catch.
Tell you, the great work was done by Logan, getting inside Blunt. That's a cardinal sin when you're one-on-one in a bump-and-run situation. You don't want to let the wide receiver get inside. Logan got inside on 2 straight occasions, the last one for 6.
The 7th touchdown reception of the year. Matt Bahr hits the extra point, and all of a sudden we got a tight ball game with 47 seconds to play in the first half. The Steelers holding to a 12-9 lead.
Just a well-thrown ball to a big receiver. Blunt was totally shadowed out of the play, had no play on the ball. They pulled it within 2.
Extra point, the 10th point of the game for the Browns, so it's a 2-point advantage now for the Steelers. They'll be receiving with 47 seconds to play in the first half. Cleveland getting set to kick off after traveling 65 yards in 7 plays. Beneficiaries, you'll remember, of the personal foul against the Steelers. A 15-yard assessment got them down close, and then finally Sipe throws the strike to Dave Logan. It's touchdown Pittsburgh, up by just 2 points now. Cleveland getting its first touchdown of the game.
Just another Steeler-Brown game.
There's never been a bad one that I remember.
Chuck Noll talking to Terry Bradshaw. Remember that Chuck is calling the plays and at Terry's request. And the thing that I noticed most today, Don, is that I think Chuck is calling plays that fit Terry's personality better than Terry was early in the year.
Long kickoff by Cox. Moser counseling Larry Anderson not to run it out for Pittsburgh. So the Steelers will start out in their 20 with 47 seconds to try and get it downfield. Cleveland has 2 timeouts left. Pittsburgh has just 1. Browns led first in this game on a Matt Bahr field goal on their first possession, 3-0. Steelers came right down and scored. Extra point was missed. Steelers scored again after a sustained drive. Extra point again missed. It was 12-3 until a moment ago when Brian Sipe threw the perfect strike to Dave Logan, cutting in on Mel Blunt. Into the end zone goes Logan, and it's now a 12-10 game. Pittsburgh in the lead, and the crowd starts up. Screen to Franco Harris. He's out to the 26-yard line. Clarence Scott was the tackler. Cleveland Stadium, a couple hundred yards from the waters of Lake Erie. The wind sweeping in from the open end of the field. The chill factor on the playing field about 10 degrees at the outset of the game. It's going to go lower as the day wears on. Here is Bradshaw throwing. He throws a strike to Sidney Thornton.
Now they've got to call a timeout. They've only got one left, so they're in a predicament. They won't get the playoff if they don't.
9 seconds left. Bradshaw, 8 seconds. You better make this one a long one because that's the deal. Alzado offside. Interception to Autry Beeman, but there was a penalty marker down.
Wasn't too tough to see who was offsides either. He almost got the snap from center.
Lyle Alzado leaving early, so actually Bradshaw had a free play, but clock has run out. Can't end on a defensive penalty, though, so they'll get another play. Looks like here's
77 defense offside. Will extend the half. 1 down.
I know one thing. Bradshaw's got the arm. He can put it in the end zone if they give him enough time.
He can throw it that far. The line of scrimmage is the 37-yard line. 7-yard drop. He'll be pumping it maybe 70. Who knows? Now he throws an out pass, and he's intercepted by Clarence Scott. First half ends on an interception. So the Steelers take their winnings to the locker room, meager as they are. A 2-point lead for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 12-10. Don Fricky with John Brody. John, turnovers have been a big factor in this game. I don't think we've seen the last of them.
They have, but the funny thing about turnovers, Don, if you don't have a few, then you really aren't trying to do anything. And I think more than anything, it exemplifies the fact that both teams are having a go at it right now. They've found a few people open. They've found several covered. I think with the quality of the quarterback play that we will see in the second half, another Cleveland-Pittsburgh game is in the offing. I don't think it'll be more than a 3-point spread. I know if you give Brian Sipe only 2 points to work with and a whole half to play, he's going to put some points on the board for you. And on the same token, I think Bradshaw's doing the same thing.
Well, when the Browns and the Steelers play, it's always knockout football. Here's how it looked in the first half as the first touchdown of the game brought the Steelers from behind. Hawthorne takes it in from a yard out. Here's a great throw by Bradshaw.
Well, this is what Terry does so well. You give him enough time, he'll find people over the middle of the field. He hit Stallworth, one of his favorite receivers. Now you see Sidney Thornton getting to play for the first time in quite a while. He takes his in, and then Sipe comes back. First of all, he makes a bad throw down the field. I think he made a bad decision here. Two defenders take their pick as to who's going to pick it off. This time he finds Logan on the inside shoulder of Blunt, gets him to within 2 points.
So it was a good first half, and it's going to be a great second half. It always is when the Browns and the Steelers hook up, and we'll be returning to Cleveland Stadium for the second half kickoff right after this. There's only one car in Erie as the Pittsburgh Steelers, leading 12-3 throughout most of the second quarter, find their lead cut to 2 points to start the second half. The Cleveland Browns back on the playing field, and the Steelers and Terry Bradshaw across the way loosening up. The Steeler team, other than Bradshaw, was huddling around Chuck Noll. The first half numbers, John, and how they break down.
Well, you see a relatively even distribution, and I think it's indicative of the score, particularly in time of possession. Both sides moved it up and down the field at will. Only one punt. Cleveland is yet to punt, and 3 turnovers for each side has kept the score minimally. I'm losing my jaws too. Minimally, I don't know what that means, but
we'll accept it.
Seemed like the only thing that would come out.
Idea, Coach. These have been high-scoring games. A year ago, when the Steelers and the Browns hooked up here at Cleveland Stadium, the Steelers took a 13-point lead into the fourth quarter, 26-13. But this man, Brian Sipe, started to pump the ball. Logan and Rucker and Feature started catching it, and of course Ozzie Newsome, and at game's end it was Cleveland 27, the Steelers 26. They were standing and cheering, and with reason, here in another sold-out day. 80,000 here today. Look at the overall comparison statistically. A lot of similarity between the Browns and the Steelers. Also, the kind of football they play. They really get teed up, though, when this game comes on twice a year. The 64th meeting of the two teams. Steelers won the first. In fact, Sam Ratigliano and the Browns under Ratigliano have never won at Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. They sure come close. Here's the kickoff, a high spinner that Anderson fields on the run. Sometimes you see a ball player lose the ball like that when he hits it with his knee, catching it low, but he makes a good return at the ball. Takes it across the 35-yard line, and Bradshaw and the Steelers start out with good field position. Larry Anderson a little slow getting up after a good return of 19 yards, and Chuck Knoll sending in the play, sends in his general, Terry Bradshaw, to run the offense.
Since Anderson's been inserted into the return position, they've been doing quite a bit better on both kickoff returns and punt returns.
Lynn Swan goes wide to the right. John Starwood's on the left flank. Randy Grossman's the tight end set left. Cunningham is out. Bradshaw goes to the run, and Franco Harris, notorious bad field runner, takes the ball ahead out to the 45-yard line. A gain of about 7 on the play. Offensively in the line for the Steelers, there's the backfield first. Bradshaw has Thornton and Harris his runners, but Hawthorne's been getting playing time today. Frank Pollard's out. Starwood and Swan, the wide receivers. Cunningham out with an injury. He is in uniform, was running before the game. Pinney and Wolfley, a couple of young players on the left side. Webster, the all-pro at center. Steve Corson and Larry Brown, the offensive lineman on the right side. Second down and 3 for Pittsburgh. Back to Franco, same play, same yardage. Franco Harris busts it down the sideline. Steelers gear up when it gets cold and mean out, and that's what it's like today. The temperature is definitely dropping now, and the wind is picking up.
Franco's always looking for that crack inside, but when it doesn't show, he sets the linebackers up, and this time Don Good, so that they're standing still when he makes his break to the outside. When they do so, he'll get around them. This time he picks up about 11 for a first down.
See, Franco now ups his numbers to 48. He's on target for another 1,000-yard year. And historically, Franco Harris' biggest games have come late in the season and in the playoffs. When the money's on the line, Franco Harris is there. Nose guard Henry Bradley might have jumped a little early, but he could have been drawn. We'll wait for the call. Say Henry Bradley plays every down of every game, every practice play like it's his last one.
And they go so unnoticed. You see those guys standing right over the center. Number 52, Mike Webster. He and Bradley have been having to go at it all afternoon.
Instruction, 91 defense.
Henry Bradley says after we win, a lot of our guys like to go out and dance. He says, man, I go home and go to bed. He said, I can't dance anyway, but he said, I'm too tired to do anything. The linebackers and the DBs for the Cleveland Browns. Hanford Dixon was their number 1. Not big, but he takes off like a shot out of a gun. He's playing the fastest player on the field. He's on the right corner. He's playing way off John Starwood, and with good reason. You recall Starwood's reception of the first half. Back to the run. Franco Harris gets into open field and takes it down to the 25-yard line. Great offensive blocking by the Pittsburgh Steelers. 13-yard gain on the play.
Watching Franco, you know, he's going back to the huddle late. Now watch the way this play develops. You see all these Pittsburgh linemen are real good pulling. Steve Corson, number 77, gets back on Robert L. Jackson, actually creating a space for Franco. When Beeman tackles him, he handles him like a roped calf. Now, if you stay here long enough, you can see him throw his legs down. It didn't set well with Franco.
Bradshaw with his first pass of the second half, swings it out, goes to Russell Davis, who drops a perfectly thrown ball. Russell Davis has been a great short yardage player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He has an excellent yard per carry rush average. He has flat out bad hands catching the ball, though he'll be the first to tell you he can't catch it. New Orleans and Houston tied up 10-10.
I can't believe a man can't catch a ball thrown like that. Now, if he can run with it, he can catch it. I think sometimes you put things in your mind, and pretty soon they become bigger than you.
Marcus Allen could be headed to the Baltimore Colts next season, the way they're going.
Well, I can think of a few other teams that he might prefer.
Second down and 10. They go to Sidney Thornton, spinning off, and Thornton takes it down to the 19-yard line. He got 6. Steelers are getting the yardage on the run, coming out after taking the second half kickoff. 13:07 to play in the third quarter. It is a 12-10 game, Pittsburgh.
Don, you're talking about an Allen going to Baltimore. They've already got two outstanding running backs and a fine quarterback. They're going to have to make some wholesale readjustments, and having the #1 pick in the draft could give them 4 or 5 players if they use the head.
And they've got an owner that's a genius. He called the plays last week. Bradshaw into the end zone. Stallworth goes up. No marker. Ruled they were all going for the ball together. Autry Beeman slow getting up. Curtis Weathers, they call him Skywalker, number 55. He can get up in the air, and they have him back there for just that reason.
Well, it's a touchy situation. You see the ball coming down the field. Now, the ball is tipped, and now Beeman makes contact. Once that happens, that's okay. It's when you make contact with a man before it's tipped, then it's interference. And there isn't a player in the game that can judge it perfectly every time.
The setting is invariably the same. Cold and snow, the lights on under a steel gray Ohio sky when the Steelers and the Browns meet here in Cleveland late in the season. Now Trout, who you recall missed 2 extra points at this end, will try a field goal. No, Mark Malone's going to run it. Mark Malone crashes inside the 15-yard line. He gets a Pittsburgh first down. So the Steelers dig into the bag of tricks, and Mark Malone, a quarterback who has a bad knee that's going to require surgery after the season, gives it his all and gets the play done.
That is sucking it up, because when he took off out with the ball, it looked so clean. His stride looks pretty good right now. But he knows he's got to dive for the first down or he's not going to get it. He does so, and with it goes his knee.
Steelers have a quarterback problem, as you know. The backup, Cliff Stout, who is challenging for the starting job, fractured his arm in a strength machine in some saloon out in Seattle. We found out the machine was stronger than he was. Here's a handoff, and Thornton rips his way down to the 5-yard line. The Steelers coming off the ball with vengeance here in the third quarter. Ray Pinney, 74. Craig Wolfley, 73. And always Webster, 52, blasting out at the backers.
I mean, this is just great offensive line play. Again, they pulled 2 guards trying to get a hole, and look at the hole they create.
Of course, in 77.
Thornton is 4 or 5 yards down the line, past the line of scrimmage before he's touched by anybody, and all the momentum's going Pittsburgh's way right now.
But turnovers have been a big factor. Both sides have turned it over 3 times in this game. It can happen at any moment in the cold at Cleveland Stadium. Thornton has a problem, turns the corner, loses yardage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cleveland Browns hit him. Ron Bolton, 28, turned the run in. And then Sidney Thornton was finished off. Didn't get the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 3. Buffalo with a 13-10 lead over New England now. John Smith just hit a field goal for the Patriots from 43 yards out. Weather can be no good deal today in Buffalo, 100 miles over across the lake. Seattle and Kansas City tied 6-all. All field goals. 2 by Herrera, 2 by Lowry. Big down. Trout starts up again. Actually, they've never let up for a moment. Bradshaw looks. He's going to run. Is he? Going to run. It is. Terry Bradshaw is down inside the 5. He's got a first down. First down, Pittsburgh. You were talking earlier, John, about the spectacular athletic ability of Terry Bradshaw, that there isn't a better athlete that's ever played this position. He's one of the fastest guys in the Pittsburgh team.
Well, and I tell you what, he's one of the few quarterbacks that actually becomes a running back when he's moving with the ball. Now, this is a heck of a play. Most quarterbacks would have made about 4 yards less than he did, would have come up short of the first down, and had to kick a field goal.
15 first downs for the Steelers. That was a big one by Bradshaw on the 3rd down play, 1st and goal from the 2. The Steelers get it in. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Franco Harris on the payoff end. '83 career touchdowns for Franco Harris, tied for 2nd all-time with Jim Taylor. Jim Brown's got a big lead still.
He did quite a bit with those 9 years he played.
Right here.
Right. And this was a beautiful drive. I mean, it was done with the offensive line moving people out and off the line of scrimmage, allowing both Thornton and Harris to run it well. Look at this.
Well, Trout's having a good day. He's 0 for 3. 0 for 3 on extra points. His best play as a place kicker was the fake field goal, and he never got to kick it. And Malone ran it for the first down and subsequently led to the touchdown.
This will lead you to wonder what is going on. This one looked to me like it would have been in easily. It was blocked by the left corner.
Dave Trout putting the excitement back in the extra point.
How about Michelob Light for the winners? Sure, but we get mighty thirsty.
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
Those guys could have beaten the Russians today. You think they'd play us for a Michelob Light?
Michelob Light. Compare the taste. STP, a big name in racing for nearly 20 years. STP oil treatment on the track in some of the world's most expensive engines. Around the track, around the world, every day, tens of thousands of people get STP oil treatment. Get it for your car. Satisfaction guaranteed. Around the track, around the world, STP oil treatment is #1.
The stretch drive for playoff contention continues as Denver takes on San Diego, #1 and #2 in the AFC West. The surprising Bengals looking to rise from last place to a division title battle of Browns, and the New York Jets in a must-win against the Colts next Sunday.
62 yards in 11 plays after the Steelers took the opening kickoff, and finally Franco Harris on the payoff end. 3 different Steelers have scored touchdowns. Hawthorne the first, Thornton the second, Franco Harris the third. All 3 big backs, full backs. Now Dave Trout, who's been unable to hit on 3 extra point tries, gets set to kick it off. Snow continues to fall, but it's a very light snow. It's not building up on the field, which was covered. Field's in very good condition. Trout kicks up down to the goal line. Dino Hall, and he's something, takes it across the 10 and the 15, puts his head down and gets to the 21. Tonight on NBC, it is Bob Hope's Stand Up and Cheer for the National Football League 60th year, the all-star comedy salute to America's #1 spectator sport. An awesome lineup of stars: Olivia Newton-John, Susan Anton, O.J. Simpson, and Dick Butkus. You remember him, John, don't you?
Yeah, I've seen him once or twice.
They're all going to be there.
Look at him again.
That's tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the Bob Hope Football Special on NBC. 1st and 10 Cleveland. Now the Browns need to get something going on their first possession of the 3rd quarter. Right through it. Robin Cole lets him down. Robin Cole shoots the gap, makes the play behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of 3 yards, 2nd and 13, and we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Pittsburgh's 11, the news station.
Don Criqui with John Brody, Cleveland Stadium, on a day in northeastern Ohio when the wind chill factors down to 10 degrees above 0. That was at the outset of the day. It could be down around 0 at this point. It's not getting any warmer. The lights are on as the Cleveland Browns go to the throw on 2nd and 13. A long throw. Rucker is out there. Rucker had the ball and lost it. The official lost his hat and his footing.
Well, he lost his footing because I think he got run over by J.T. Thomas. And that's just an indication of how Sipe fooled everybody, not only the defensive secondary, but also the official, because he would not have been in that position had he thought there was any chance of the ball coming down there. Now, Sipe gets plenty of time. When you get plenty of time, you can do a lot of things. Take a look. There's Doug Deacon pushing Banaszak outside. Good control up front. Dunn can't get any penetration. The ball's thrown right where it has to be thrown. You can see the official trying to get out of the way, but was knocked down by a Blunt. That's the second one of those they've let get away.
Brian Sipe tried to get it all in a hurry. Now he has 3rd down and 13. Here comes a 3-man rush. Sipe hemmed in by Beasley. Goodman's coming after him, and Goodman can run, and Goodman gets him. John Goodman is faster than any quarterback out there.
Well, he's faster than the one playing for Cleveland. I don't know if he's faster than the guy on the other side.
They're not about to race him.
But the problem is Brian's had plenty of time to throw. The defensive secondary for Pittsburgh is playing lights out. They're not getting they're not allowing people to get open when Sipe's able to get out of the pocket. Now, it's dangerous. You find a quarterback that can get out of this, he's generally going to find a receiver coming open and wide open. Goodman makes a fine play, and they've got a punt.
This is Steve Cox's first punt of the game for Cleveland. Standing back at his 5-yard line. Sullivan, the snapper, whips it back. Not too long. Kind of script kicked it. It's going to take a roll for the Browns down to the 42-yard line where it's down. So the Steelers, after a 38-yard punt and, as you see, no return, go on offense for a second time in the second half. Pittsburgh leading the game at the moment, 18-12. We'll be back at Cleveland Stadium after this.
This is no way to treat a personal luxury car, but this is no ordinary personal luxury car. This is the new Dodge 400. The cockpit says personal luxury, but here's the difference. Front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, McPherson struts, electronically controlled engine, and another extraordinary difference, extraordinary mileage. Dodge 400 is no ordinary personal luxury car.
It's a personal driving machine.
Dodge 400, America's personal driving machine.
I've never seen one that large with such clarity. My ring. Actually, you're Sony.
Trinitron's unique one-gun, one-lens system gives you an extraordinary picture. Whether it's the world's largest color television or the world's smallest.
Is 100 billion big enough, gentlemen?
Incredibly small. That's why few things are more impressive
Magnificent color.
than the Emmy award-winning Trinitrons from Sony, the one and only.
New Orleans, with Bum Phillips returning to the Astrodome now as coach of the Saints, has taken a 17-10 lead over Houston in the third quarter. And the Oilers, like the Browns, started this 12th weekend of play with a 5-6 record.
Remember, their best ever is 8-8. They may beat that.
New Orleans' best ever.
Yep.
Franco Harris back to the run, sees Cleveland close it down. Here's a fumble. Browns say they have it, and so do the officials. We've seen turnovers, now another, and we've not seen the last. Robert L. Jackson comes up with a football, and Cleveland gets it at the 42-yard line of Pittsburgh. The fourth turnover of this game by the Steelers. Last week, in upsetting the Falcons at Atlanta, they forced 6 Falcon turnovers.
On a field such as this, we see Dick Ambrose, 52, and Robert L. Jackson, number 56. We mentioned if the two linebackers could get in on the play, they can cause fumbles, they can make tackles behind the line of scrimmage. In the last drive, the Steeler offense kept those two fellas from being able to get into the play.
7 turnovers in the game. Sam Rutigliano seeing his QB throw 3 interceptions. Brian Sipe. Now Sipe and the Cleveland offense goes in the Pittsburgh 42.
Reverse.
End around Ozzie Newsome. Robin Cole can't get him. Donnie, look at that hit shell. A free agent who's made All-Pro twice. Guys hit like cannons. Big day coming up at Shea. Temperature dropping in New York. I don't know how the Miami Dolphins are going to like that, or the jet pass rush, but Miami goes into the game with a 1-game lead in the AFC East over New York. It is the NBC doubleheader game that you'll be seeing next, Miami and the Jets. That's how it stands in the Eastern Division of the American Conference. Miami 7-3-1, the Jets 6-4-1. The tie for both teams came in that overtime tie at the Orange Bowl.
Offense, 1st and 20.
That hurt. The Cleveland Browns are taken out of position now. Illegal use of hands. There's the AFC Central. The Bengals on their way to extending their record to 9-3.
And I think realistically, Don, right now, as well as Cincinnati's playing with 4 games left to play, and all they'd have to win is 2, these two teams are playing for a possible playoff berth.
They are. They're looking for a wild card. 9th penalty on Cleveland. They've been assessed 78 yards in penalty yardage. 1st and 20. Sipe throws. Reggie Rucker dove at the ball. Did he hold on? He did. Reggie Rucker has the ball inside the 35-yard line. 14-yard gain on the play. Rucker was the hero last weekend at San Francisco. He had a diving reception for a touchdown that tied the game, and then was wide open to set up the field goal with another long reception. The best records in the AFC at the moment, as you see, the 3 divisional leaders with Kansas City and the Jets close behind. 3 teams at 6 and 5 starting the day. Second down and less than 3 now for Cleveland. Pruitt up the middle. He breaks into open field and gets to the 27-yard line. And the game clock goes down to 7:09 to play.
These guys have a whole playbook full of different types of ways to run the draw. This time it's a very simple run the ball back, get somebody over pursuing, turn them out, and let Mike find the hole. You don't find many teams that run draw plays on 2nd down and 3 effectively.
Well, the Browns said, John, they were going to change up the play calls and try to keep the Steelers off balance. And they've been doing it. The turnover a big factor in this drive, though, after Cleveland couldn't move earlier. Now they're down with 1st and 10 inside the 30 as Sipe takes a look, dropping back. Here's the rush. Sipe eludes it again, gets it away, incomplete. Brian Sipe somehow got away just before John Banaszak got him.
Getting quite active out there.
Yes, it is. We have a couple of gents being separated, Dwayne Woodruff and Dave Logan. Browns going with their basic 4-3 at the moment.
This is one of these good luck jobs right here. Now, we've seen Brian get away from a pass rush 3 or 4 times, primarily because they're only putting 3 men trying to get to Brian. He makes an excellent play to get it back to the line of scrimmage and make it ruled incomplete.
Next weekend, these Browns are at home as the Cincinnati Bengals come to town. Steelers go back to Pittsburgh to play the LA Rams. 6:28 to go in the 3rd quarter. 18-10 is the score. Pittsburgh's in the lead. The Browns starting to challenge now, 2nd and 10. Another big rush. Sipe's a dancer, gets it away. It's caught. The 25-yard line, a gain of only about 2 yards on the play, though. That's better than getting sacked. The Steelers were closing in again on Sipe. Third and 8.
Tell you what, they're only rushing 3 people, so Brian's got quite a bit of time to throw the ball. But when they do, they've got 8 people back playing defensively, and they have allowed very few people open.
And they have intercepted him 3 times. The Steelers have. Game clock winding down in the 3rd quarter. 5:45 to play in it. 3rd down and 8.
They're coming this time.
Coors 90, a stand-up defensive end. They go to Greg Pruitt. Finds his way ahead to the 23-yard line, well short of a 1st down.
They fooled Cleveland. That's what they did. Cleveland did not expect a blitz. They had the play called on the 1st sound, so they couldn't audible it. Well, you get everybody up at the line of scrimmage and run a wide play, and you're just 1 man short. You can see J.T. Thomas is across the line of scrimmage before the ball is really extended and the lineman can get out. That allows the pursuit to catch up. They just fooled him.
Now let's see if Matt Bahr can hit a field goal against his former teammates. From the 28, 38-yard attempt. Winds are swirling, not that heavily right now. Hit the upright and it bounced back. Matt Bahr hit the right upright. It bounced back. It's no good. So the score holds 18-10 Pittsburgh with 4:50 left to play in the 3rd quarter. We'll be back at Cleveland Stadium with the Steelers in possession right after this.
Recently, a few extraordinary wines were entered in a prestigious international competition. Wines made from costly varietal grapes, harvested in some of the world's finest growing regions. An oak-aged Chardonnay, a deep, full-flavored Burgundy, a light, dry Chenin Blanc, a varietal Rosé, a spicy Gewürztraminer. And each of these wines, all from a single winemaker, was judged to be among the best of the world.
Silver medal, gold medal, silver, gold, gold medal.
The wines, all from America, all from California, and all from the wine cellars of America's premier vintners, Ernest and Julio Gallo. The award-winning wines of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
Sophisticated racing machines firm up the track at breakneck speeds of over 200 miles per hour. Don't miss the quickest quarter mile ever in NHRA drag racing. Then, a special encore performance of the World Pro Figure Skating Championship next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
Matt Bahr hooded against the November cold. This was Matt a minute ago before the cloak went on.
You know, he's a rather unemotional type guy. Now, this ball hits the crossbar to get him within 6 points. He doesn't like it. That's part of the deal.
Kansas City looking for a playoff spot and perhaps headed towards one. Out in front of Seattle, 20-6 in the second quarter. Chiefs having a big year under Marv Levy. Handoff goes straight ahead, and the ball comes out from the 20, out close to the 23-yard line, and a first down carry. Steelers powering the ball behind the running of Franco Harris and the blocking of Ray Pinney. Saturday on NBC Sports World, you'll see the superstars of ice skating, including Ty Babaloni and Randy Gardner, Robin Cousins, Peggy Fleming, and Dorothy Hamill in the World Pro Figure Skating Championship, an encore performance. Plus, the funny cars and the pro stocks go at it in the 1981 National Hot Rod Association World Finals of Drag Racing. Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC Sports World. 2nd and 8. Bradshaw has time. He throws, and the ball is caught. Diving reception made by Sid Thornton. He's caught 3 today, and they've all been nice grabs.
Well, when you get enough time to allow your halfback to get down the field and fire the thing outside, you're going to complete some. Particularly, now this is a Terry Bradshaw type pass to his backs, down the field, not to the side. Look at his offensive line. Nobody got within 4 yards of Terry. That's just like pitch and catch.
In games that Terry Bradshaw has quarterbacked against Cleveland, there's been 18 of them. The Steelers are 14-4. First down and 10. Bradshaw going to put it up again.
He's got it.
Looking long. Here's a home run ball. John Stallworth on the fly. Dives for the ball, and he's out. Oh! Got to think it over.
Now, Stallworth isn't making any complaint because he really doesn't know. He was extended on the ball. And
what a great play anyway.
Well, the ball, it looked to me as if he had 1 foot on the chalk line. Terry makes a beautiful throw. This ball's going some 58, 59 years on. Now let's look at his left foot. You can see he doesn't get it in. They ought to give you something for doing something like that.
That was a great effort. When you look at Terry Bradshaw, these are the good old days. He may be the best ever as a quarterback. They sure knocked him when he came to the league, as you remember, John, but he's achieved every honor in the game. Quarterback of 4 Super Bowl championship teams. He's been the NFL's MVP, most valuable player of Super Bowls, a sure Hall of Famer. And yet the fire burns as strongly and as hotly as it ever did. He's still driven to win. He is the prime mover of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now he has a 2nd down and 10 play coming up. He stands and looks and drills it. Ooh, that was almost intercepted. Curtis Weathers going for the ball. Skipped off John Stallworth. He is a fastball thrower when he need be.
Good thing it skipped off, or it might have been picked off.
3rd down coming up now at the 34-yard line, 3:20 to play.
You're taking a look at the defense back here, Don. Now, there are a lot of spaces, but it's not the pattern you had called. So now you have to see over the lineman's head. When you do that, you still have to pick out someone that's open, and it's no easy trick.
Cleveland's corners and safeties playing way off, and now the linebackers drop. Bradshaw throws, a man is open. It's caught by Jim Smith, and he's down inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. They've thrown to him twice today, and he has made 2 spectacular grabs. You'll recall the one that led to the first touchdown of this game for Pittsburgh.
That was an excellent reception, but it was a better throw. Bradshaw couldn't even get his arm all the way out before it got hit. I think he surely willed that one out there.
2:53 to go in the 3rd quarter here at Cleveland Stadium. 18-10 is the score. Pittsburgh leading Cleveland. It was 12-10 Steelers at halftime. Pittsburgh drove the ball right at Cleveland after the second half kickoff. Finally took it in for the touchdown. Franco Harris is on the payoff end. 1st and 10. Hawthorne. Alzado grabs him and holds on. He gets a little yardage down to the 35-yard line. I tell you, these Steeler linemen, colder it gets, they still wear those short sleeve shirts. Pump that iron, show you those biceps. There's no way that Webster can get a shirt that fits.
I don't think he's ever shopped for one.
Coach Knowles Geared up for this December and November chill, and here's a handoff. Franco turns upfield with a penalty marker down. Markers down at both sides of the line of scrimmage. Stopping the game clock with 1:50 left to play. Bart Starr has Packers coming back in recent weeks. Not today. That case was closed in the second quarter. Halftime was 27-0 against the Browns.
Defense, number 90, offside. Still second down.
Second down and 2. That gives Bradshaw a nice option, John. Ball at the 31-yard line of Cleveland. Pitch back to Franco. He's tough. Franco Harris is ahead for a Pittsburgh first down at the 28-yard line. Franco Harris out of Penn State in 1972 as a rookie, then with the Pittsburgh Steelers, their #1 draft choice, and not coincidentally 1972 was the year that the Steelers started going to the playoffs. Talk about a winning player. Franco lumbers up to the line of scrimmage. He has that great ability to shuffle his feet, to pick a hole, then to accelerate, all 230 pounds at least. Up the middle. Sid Thornton runs with the ball. He's given the Steelers a lot today. He has blocked well. He's caught the ball well. And he's been in the end zone on a plunge with the second touchdown.
We haven't seen as much of Lyle Alzado as you normally would expect. And take a look at Ray Pinney. Now, he's staying glued to him. He stayed glued to him all day long. Lyle's played all right. But I think if you had to give an edge to one side or the other, you'd have to give it to Pittsburgh's offensive line, because they have made yards at critical times.
33 seconds to go in the third quarter. Steelers leading 18-10. Second down and 10 coming up for Pittsburgh. Draw play to Franco Harris, and he dives down to the 25-yard line. Franco got 3. Third down and 8 now for Bradshaw and the Steelers. Franco Harris has now run with the ball 17 times, 71 yards. He could be on his way to an 8th 100-yard game against the Cleveland Browns.
They better send in a play if they're going to.
Ray Pinney doing a big job on Lyle Alzado. The third quarter runs out. The score, Steelers 18, Browns 10. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight at 7, 6 Central and Mountain, the Trouble Boy holds the key to a series of crimes on chips. Then Hope and Sinatra and 2 fabulous specials. Bob Hope salutes the NFL with Elizabeth Taylor, Olivia Newton-John, Barbara Mandrell, and football's finest. Then the musical event of the year, Sinatra, the man and his music. New York. Tonight.
Genesee is believing.
We used to take those fancy travel folder vacations. Now we're having more fun.
For less money.
Right here in Genesee country. And even if you're a beginner, it's a great life. Fresh air, good food, and the best tasting beer. Genesee.
You can count on Jenny Taste, 'cause it's brewed in just one place. Genesee is believing.
I used to get a bit upset on paydays. You see, long bank lines drive me bananas. But now I deal with my Union National 24-hour personal teller. It handles my checking, savings, gives me cash, does almost everything a regular teller does, but rarely keeps me waiting and never goes home. So now I never go bananas. I go to my Union National 24-hour personal teller with this card and do almost any banking, anytime. Peachy.
Sports Week, tonight at 11:15 on WPXI.